90 seconds and also give you an update on some of the world of graphics and video and animation. So, James, do you want to kick us off? What are some of the things that you've
Yeah.
noticed in the chatbot
Okay.
world?
Well, let me first of all very quickly show you the GCF community site, which is the server has now rebooted. So if you go to gcf.community, you'll see this banner up at the top, find out about the AI Academy. That's going to be your shortcut. Click on there and you'll see a number of useful things such as FAQs, a glossary of terms, which is super helpful if you're relatively new to AI, and you can even search it. So if you hear something on this call that you don't understand, type it in there, and you might find the answer. And then this section is also really helpful, the tools section, which is a growing list. So do revisit this. And if you find tools that aren't here that you think should be, then you're more than welcome to post those into the WhatsApp chat, and we look at those, and where appropriate, we'll get those added. You can filter them by categories. You can there's links through to each one, so it's super helpful. And then you've got links to the manual and the AI Academy on Mac 7, which Si was showing you before. So let me stop that share, because what I want to do is share a PowerPoint with you. Okay, so strap in. This is going to be quick. I could talk about this for hours, and we don't have hours. So where are we? Slideshow, play from start. Continue to share. Right, AI Academy update. So what's new in the world of AI? Well, there's a whole bunch of things, and some of you will be very familiar with this. Obviously, AI usage is increasing at an incredible rate. Globally, the AI market, in terms of the tools and the investment, that's growing by more than a third every year. 37% is forecast to grow this year. AI market size in terms of dollars. I mean, when I hear these figures, I find it very difficult to get my head around them. But by the end of 2024, so the end of last year, the value of AI technology was over $300 billion, which is just insane. And by 2030, we're expecting AI to create 133 million new jobs around the world. And many people will obviously find that it's impacting their own jobs, and that can be both in positive and in negative ways. But personally, I recommend that you try and embrace it. It's going to be difficult to get away from AI, and the more you learn about AI, the more techniques you use to try and use it for good, and to use it to benefit you personally and professionally, the better. AI content definitely becoming more prevalent. You'll have seen this on social media. You'll have seen it in the news. I see pictures, photos every single day on my Facebook page, where my Facebook feed, where people are saying what an incredible photo this is. And I would say that at the moment, a good 50% of those are AI generated, and they're not flagged as such. And people are by nature are very trusting. So one of the things that I do try and encourage when we have these sessions is to encourage people to have a really healthy sense of skepticism. Question everything is my advice. If you see something that looks almost too cute, then the chances are it's not a natural photo of a I don't know, a puppy in a pile of donuts or something. There's a lot of fake content out there, so do be careful. You'll have seen it in the news also with in this country, in the UK. It's been in the news in terms of how AI usage is increasing very significantly with students at university and at colleges, and obviously pros and cons with that. Good in terms of research, far less good when students are trying to use AI to write their essays for them, or to solve problems that they should be doing themselves. So definitely becoming more prevalent.
AI literacy, this is the flip side of that. This is becoming much more important. I think this makes it an essential skill for everyone, from people who are running companies to people who are doing children's ministry to parents to teachers, all of these different people. The more that we know how to use these tools and how to use them wisely, and perhaps most importantly, how to navigate their limitations, I think is really crucial. AI security concerns are escalating, and I imagine that this will continue for the rest of this year as well. Certainly, I think some of this is built on misunderstandings and misinformation. Some people hear about a particular tool that might be being developed in a particular country, and because a lot of the news that they hear about that country makes them nervous, they will think that there are security issues with that AI tool. So again, I would just encourage people to do their research, not just scan the headlines, but also to be very cautious, very wary. There have certainly been some very high profile cases. There was one just a few months ago where scammers successfully impersonated a company's chief financial officer, and they did this through cloning his voice and other staff members. Also creating an AI video using deepfakes, and that led to one of the finance team sending $25 million to fraudulent accounts. There was a whole FBI case around that and some warnings that they put out. So obviously not many of us are in a situation where we can send $25 million somewhere, but it does underline how convincing some of these deep fakes can be. So yes, do be wary. Okay, what's next? Release of new AI tools. Well, we'll come on into that in a moment, but there's plenty of new tools coming out literally every month at the moment. It's definitely a growth area. Something to bear in mind is that if you are buying into one of these tools, then it's worth probably going for one of the more established ones. A lot of these tools tend to be released, and they can often vanish quite quickly because there's a lot of excitement around them, but there isn't necessarily much investment that underpins them. So yeah, it's a good idea to start with the more mainstream ones, things like Suno, Runway, ChatGPT, Perplexity that Bevan was talking about, Midjourney, DALI. You know, there are some very, very established tools in the marketplace now that have a huge amount of support, have very solid backing. Updates to existing tools. I'm going to talk particularly about ChatGPT in a moment. So I was going to touch on some animation and video tools, but yeah, the pace of change is exciting. Okay, let's go through to what's new in the world of chatbots. Okay, I'm going to skip through these really quickly. Enhanced natural language understanding. These are all changes that have happened pretty quickly over the last 3 to 4 months since we had our last AI Academy in October, November last year. So enhanced natural language understanding is where a chatbot is able to understand more in terms of context and to improve its interaction. So it allows for much more accurate and productive exchanges, and it enables users to receive much more comprehensive to both specific and general questions. So basically, it's becoming more human-like in terms of how it understands language. Expanded knowledge base. You'll see with a lot of chatbots that they are advertised as having training up until a particular date. So ChatGPT, I think the latest public version of that is trained with data up to the end of October last year. So if you ask it about something that happened last month, it won't know the details. It might try and convince you that it does. It might have a minor hallucination, or it might try and extrapolate what it thinks might be happening. But its training data is only ever dated to a particular timescale. But those timescales are are becoming closer and closer together. So ChatGPT, which and this is the same for Gemini and for Poe and for a whole bunch of others, that they're all working at similar kinds of levels, but they're on a much faster scale of knowledge release now. More personalization features. So your user preferences can now be programmed in to override AI's responses. So you'll see if you go to the YouTube channel and look at the chatbot videos that I did, you'll see some more advanced features there in terms of configuring the settings around a chatbot to help it to deliver the content that you need. That's already pretty out of date. There's a lot of new features there that allow you to be more specific in terms of how you personally train your chatbot, how you can personalize it. Improved multilingual support. ChatGPT now supports over 150 languages with near human level translation accuracy. That's obviously a bit of a game changer in terms of working internationally and cross-culturally, and you can switch between English, Spanish, French, any other language when you're engaging with ChatGPT. So it's very useful if you are working in a multilingual setting and you're working as a team, and particularly as we look at this next one, actually. Oh no, not that one. There's one in a minute that talks about real-time collaboration. But if you're doing real-time collaboration in ChatGPT, which you can now do, having multiple users to work together, the fact that you can now incorporate those multilingual capabilities into it is very exciting. Enhanced integration with other apps. These are coming on weekly at the moment. So for example, you can I'll do a quick training video on this actually in the next couple of weeks, but there's you can run CapCut completely within ChatGPT now. There's the integration between some of these tools and chatbots is amazing. Real-time collaboration I talked about. Customization and personalized AI assistants. This is, again, if you go back to the chatbot training videos, you'll see a section on setting up particular AI assistants. Let's say that you want to interact with your chatbot within the context of it being an expert on children's ministry, or within the context of it being somebody to help you lose weight, or the context of learning how to do some DIY in your house. You can create these personalized AI assistants, and you've been able to do that for some months, but what's new is the level of detail that you can go into with that. And then the last one, which is maybe one of the most important ones, is that with the concerns around security and ethics, there has been much more robust development in this area, particularly with OpenAI, who is the company behind ChatGPT. So they're incorporating much more robust bias detection mitigation techniques to try and ensure that their responses that come through AI are fair and unbiased and responsible. So yeah, there's been some major enhancements in that area. I'm aware that that is an awful lot of information that's come at people very quickly. We will make these slides available on the WhatsApp group. If you have questions or comments on any of these areas, then ask away. That would be a great way to kind of share information and to take the discussion forward. And we're very open to chatting about it.
Thank you, James. Let me keep moving on. What we're going to do is just a few more things to show you. And then probably we're running just a few minutes late, but at the end, on the hour, we will then have a time of discussion. So if you want to leave that's okay, because we said it would be an hour call, but then we'll stay on if you'd like to ask more questions. So James has talked about some fabulous new tools and high end. I'm also excited to announce tonight for the very first time that Mac 7 itself has AI built into it. And you can now, this is in beta, but you can now go to, and we'll share these in the WhatsApp group, to the free program maker and the free game builder. You don't even have to sign in. It's completely free. If you sign in to Mac 7, which is also free, it just means it'll store your programs for you. If you don't sign in, it doesn't store it, but you can still use it. Now, this is beta. We would love people to try it, see how it works. It uses ChatGPT, but it also uses some of the IP of Mac 7, which is all moderated. So it's sort of trying to help create better children's, youth, family Bible programs using human data as well as then chatbots. So please go and have a look at those.